college couple 6 years in and falling apart, 5 men sharing a loft full of secrets, and a one-weekend affair that turned into one of the most iconic horror stories in romantic history. Today's top 5 is the dark side of love at its most gripping. Like and subscribe. Let's count them down.
Starting at number 5, 6 Years is the Netflix drama that captures what nobody talks about when they talk about long-term relationships. What happens when you've been together so long you don't know who you'd be without the other person, and you're both starting to find out? Mel and Dan have been together since they were teenagers, and as college graduation approaches and real life starts pulling them in different directions, 6 years of love starts curdling into something much more volatile. Taissa Farmiga and Ben Rosenfield are remarkably raw and honest in this. There's no tidy villain, no clean resolution, just two young people clinging to each other and destroying each other at the same time. It premiered at SXSW and is still one of the most uncomfortably realistic portrayals of a relationship unraveling on Netflix.
In life, you win something, you lose something.
First time. And you remember that my mom came?
Number 4 is Loving Adult, originally titled Kærlighed, for Voksne, a Danish Netflix thriller that starts as a love story and slowly reveals itself as something far more sinister. Thomas and Cecilie appear to have a loving marriage, but as the film unfolds, the cracks in Thomas's behavior become impossible to ignore. His affection crosses the line into control, his attentiveness turns into surveillance, and what seemed like devotion reveals itself as something deeply possessive and frightening. The film is sharply constructed and deeply unsettling in how gradually it shifts the atmosphere from romantic to suffocating, and the lead performances are riveting throughout. If you like psychological thrillers that use love as the weapon, this one is essential. At number 3, The Loft is the erotic thriller that takes a simple, terrible idea and runs with it to its most chaotic possible conclusion. 5 married men secretly co-own a luxury loft apartment that they use for their extramarital affairs, the perfect arrangement, since only they have keys and nobody else can ever know. Then, one morning, they arrive to find a dead woman handcuffed to the bed with no idea which one of them is responsible. Carl Urban, James Marsden, and Wentworth Miller lead an impressive ensemble, and the film tears through a series of twists as each man's secrets start unraveling under pressure. It's slick, it's suspenseful, and the central premise is so brilliantly awful that you'll be hooked from the very first scene.
People.
Coming in at number 2, A Fall from Grace is a Tyler Perry Netflix thriller that became one of the platform's most watched films the week it dropped, and it earns every bit of that attention. Grace is a middle-aged woman who has spent decades putting everyone else first, and when she finally falls for a charming younger man named Shannon who seems to offer her everything she's been missing, she gives him everything: her home, her savings, her trust. Then her lawyer discovers something in Grace's case that makes it clear Shannon was never who he said he was, and that the woman in the cell may not be the monster the prosecution is trying to prove. Crystal Fox is absolutely extraordinary in this role, and the film's final act delivers one of the most satisfying, genuinely shocking twists of recent years.
Tell me something. I mean, I know you've had.
And the number 1 pick, Fatal Attraction. This is not just a great film, it is the film that permanently changed how an entire generation thought about affairs. Michael Douglas plays Dan Gallagher, a married Manhattan lawyer who has a weekend fling with Alex Forrest, played by Glenn Close, while his wife and daughter are out of town. He thinks it means nothing. Alex thinks it means everything. What follows is one of the most terrifying psychological escalations in film history, as Alex begins inserting herself into every corner of Dan's life, in ways that go from uncomfortable to genuinely dangerous. Glenn Close was robbed of the Oscar for this role. The film invented a genre. And the bunny scene is still one of the most talked about moments in cinema history. If you haven't seen it, you've heard of it, and now it's time to actually watch it.
That's also obvious.
A mistake.
That's today's top 5 films about love that crossed a line and couldn't find its way back. Drop in the comments which one scared you the most, and subscribe to Cine Picks for a brand new list every single day.